Ciclavia, Koreatown meets Hollywood, or Hollywood meets Koreatown. This is awesome. This is one I was so bummed got canceled last year because hurricane came and rained us out. The reason I really want to do this one is because the neighborhood in Koreatown in LA is the most dense neighborhood in the whole county. What that means is more people live here, like per square foot, than any other region, which means more people will be out. It's more joyous. There are more shops here. I used to live down the street from here, and compared to the Ciclavias, where it really highlights how poorly designed much of LA is, with just long blocks with nothing there, no features, just flat walls, kind of like this, of industrial regions mixed in with neighborhoods. So it's just boring, it's sad and depressing. Whereas there are tons of people out here, but there's too much space for cars. So by the way, drivers who bitch and moan about why don't cyclists use bike lanes, why aren't there cars driving here? I don't get it. Like, it's no excuse just because it's closed down for Ciclavia. If you need to get somewhere, you go. Don't you all want to get moving on your cars? So, hey, that person's got my shirt. So people complain about cyclists not using bike lanes. They never finish the thought, like, what's exactly is the criticism? That there's a certain number of cyclists who will use it when you think it's acceptable. Oh, but you don't even want to make the bike lanes accessible. And there's nowhere to park bikes most places. And bike lanes are incomplete, meaning you might have a bike lane like in this neighborhood on, which street is it? It's a few blocks from here. Something with a W, Wilson Street, I think, where it's just like a mile and a half, and it just stops. So it's like, okay, if you want to go somewhere on that mile and a half of bike lane, go ahead. Cyclists don't care. Drivers don't care. It's just an excuse to say, well, I'm used to roads, and therefore anything that intrudes on that notion of what I'm used to is incorrect, and I have to correct that misnomer. It shows a complete lack of forethought, and that's okay. I used to be like that. You can change. You can think, I cared if I was wrong, so I changed. So be careful, drivers. If you care if you're wrong, you'll eventually have your mind changed and come around. This shows the potential of cities. It also shows what a waste car-centric design is, because we can't see each other. We can't connect with each other when we're in our cars. And again, if you're just driving, you think, well, that's normal. Of course, you don't connect with people while out. But look at this. Where else can a little kid, oh, can you see it? See him, I think. But like, just be out in the middle of the street and it's safe. People have a right to the streets. You don't have a right to free roads. Not just free roads, everyone else is paying for it. 40,000 people a year are killed in car crashes. We're losing long-term health outcomes. We have more emergency room visits because of car crashes, because of asthma attacks due to the pollution emitted by cars, due to other health issues like emphysema, cardiovascular disease, neurological disease, from sedentary lifestyles, and from the bad lifestyles, period, that cars induce, such as fast food. Think about it. The rise of fast food could only come with more roads and more cars, which means also it's easier to keep people working more because they don't have free time to eat. And when they do have little time to eat, they go get crappy fast food filled with chemical preservatives. So they're stressed out, they're eating a poor diet, and apparently that's the plan. I swear, if the Taliban and Al-Qaeda were trying to kill Americans, they couldn't do it any faster than you car supporters could. You guys are doing a much better job of killing Americans than the terrorists are. And you're like, no, that doesn't matter because it's okay. It's like, but if you want to know how to kill Americans legally, just follow the car nut plan, which is just support car infrastructure everywhere. Whereas you get so many more people around so much more joyously and healthily. And think about how lonely so many people are. I think about how lonely I was in Annandale, where I lived by a 4-lane road and a bunch of other roads, and everywhere was virtually inaccessible by walking. It was such a pain in the ass to walk anywhere because cars were turning in all directions on the streets. There weren't many crosswalks. A lot of the sidewalks were broken or incomplete. It was awful, but I made myself walk because I often didn't want to just drive like 3 blocks. But a lot of times I would just drive like 3 blocks to get groceries. So think about how lonely people are. How many people complain that they can't find romantic partners, they don't have opportunities for community or friendship. Here's your opportunity, everybody. Support bike lanes, bike infrastructure, walkable, dense cities, public transportation. Yesterday, going to the hands-off protest in LA, one of many that were there, I talked to 2 people on the bus who were complaining about Social Security cuts. One woman was saying, oh, I'm going to get off here with you guys because, you know, I want to support you. She said my Social Security is being cut, and she was upset about it. And I'm like, well, good luck to us all. So we need those opportunities to actually meet with people and be face-to-face. You don't get that with cars, and you save a ton of money by doing this. My bike was $400. With all the accessories, it was like $700. This bike has now lasted me 4 years. So let's just go even $700, even though some things I changed out. Like I bought 2 more helmets since then, whatever. But let's say $700. Well, let's say $1,000, be generous. $1,000, let's see, 4 years. I've got to do some very difficult math. $250 a year. Imagine trying to pay $250 a year for a car. And you don't even get the joy of events like this, of just cycling every day. The health benefits are amazing. The boost to your mood. If you're tired, biking gives you more energy. I've made so many friends through cycling. So many great friends in my neighborhood that I literally just see out on the street because we're both biking on the same streets. Even not just like good friends, but like just acquaintances that I've seen around, like, oh, hey, I saw you at one of the bike meetups. You can't do that driving. It's ridiculous. So this is for everyone's good. Change how you think and look into whether it's worth changing how you think. Not even just saying, okay, I'm going to change my mind altogether. Just look into it. Look into it and see, like, well, what other possibilities are there for organizing a city, and what modes of transit are there, and how can we make cities more financially viable, healthier, happier? How do other cities around the world do it? What happens when they add more bike lanes? Look at Paris. They're adding 500 car-free streets now, and they're not taking the, you know, 50 different committee route that LA does to get like one little bike lane going. And it's having amazing results. People love it. The streets are safer, more accessible, they're healthier, and it saves people's finances so much when they don't have to pay $50,000 for a car, or about $10,000 a year. So, okay, in the same amount of time that I've had my bike, maybe $40,000 you're paying. And you get the benefit of this exercise. So much fun. Cleaner air. They're having much cleaner air now in Paris. You can look all over the world what happens when people do this. Look in Korea, where they tore down an urban freeway. It's beautiful what happened. They have a stream now there, and the traffic didn't get worse because people changed their behavior. So see if it's worth it, or if it's just worth it to have these ugly blights, just parking lots everywhere, big empty roads. We could have so many more people housed. We don't need to have any people homeless. Whenever we're adding a lane or adding free parking, consider that trading somebody's house for your convenience to park or drive, because people go homeless because of that. I went homeless because of that, because I couldn't afford to pay for my car and pay rent and pay my grocery bills, so I had to pick one to give up. And I wasn't going to give up groceries, couldn't give up my car, because there aren't viable ways of getting around without it. So, or I sort of could, but I didn't think about how to do it. It would have been pretty tricky regardless. So what I did, gave up my home for 2.5 years. So while you all complain about traffic that you make, I left my house, got stuck in traffic for 900 days. before I came home. That's how long I was homeless. And we could have housing instead of all these wide lanes and lanes for free parking. Free parking in this country costs hundreds of billions of dollars. All these freeways cost, and wide streets cost hundreds of billions of dollars, not just to build and maintain, but in the cost to us in medical expenses, oil subsidies, car industry subsidies, lost productivity due to being stuck in congestion. These streets can only fit so many cars on them. Cars take up a lot of space compared to bikes, so we can get so many more people moving so much more quickly if we de-emphasize car oriented transit. I'm not saying eliminate cars. They're good for certain trips you can't make by transit, or road trips, certain deliveries, although a lot of deliveries can be made by bike. But guys, you're missing out on what cities can be. So let's advocate for it. Let's say we're not going to put up with this. We're not going to support Elon Musk giving him free roads for his death machine Cybertrucks and Teslas. We're going to have healthy, happy streets. All right, everybody, let's get the pressure on, spread the word, ride a bike, ride the bus or metro, even if it's just like once a week. It can be a great experience. I love taking the bus and oh god. But it should be more frequent. We should have more bus lanes. We should have more metro surface. I was talking to the bus driver yesterday. He was like, hey, you are all out there protesting Elon Musk? I said, yeah. He's like, good, man, I support you guys. He said, Elon Musk can, I won't say what he said then, but I was like, it would be his choice to do that. Got rollerbladers out, joggers. Some people just standing around doing nothing at all, just walking. So, awesome, one wheel. So let's not keep destroying our cities for this very misguided notion of convenience, like parking lots like this, these lights that cost us so much money. This could be productive space. This could be so much more. Could be housing, could be services, could be amenities, could be libraries. We need more literacy. It could be culture, could be movie theaters, could be community centers. Other countries do this. People act like cities were made for cars. You don't know what you're talking about. Cities were around before cars. Streets were around before cars. Cities were destroyed for cars. Neighborhoods were destroyed for cars. Houses were flattened all through LA for cars. So anyways, I'm gonna get going, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.